Hi there, good afternoon, and welcome to another session where you and I sit down together and focus on areas that are needed for XAT. Over the last few weeks, we've done a lot of RCs, poems, a lot of other questions. But today, I plan to focus mostly on the grammar and vocabulary side of the things. So I welcome you to BYJU'S exam prep channel dedicated to your success as a B School aspirant. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the notification bell so that you start getting the information about every new session that we bring in. And because we bring in a lot of sessions, I think it is really important for you to have that on. My name is Vikrant. I am your personal coach for all things related to English, communication skills, and even the psychological aspects of preparation. So here is the first bit that we can actually start with. So I believe it is important for us to feed our mind with the right kind of things, with the right kind of information, and that eventually leads to a situation where we become bulletproof, we become very resilient, where we can go ahead and deliver our best in or across a wide range of situations, a wide range of scenarios. So if you happen to have any questions, if there is anything that you want to ask, please use the chat window liberally. And otherwise, I'd of course go ahead and start. So hi Sonali and Priyanshi. Here is a snapshot of the paper pattern, but then you already know part 1, part 2 and all that jazz. So let us dive into the very first question. What do you think? Which punctuation mark do we need here? Do you need a comma? Do you need a hyphen? Do you need a colon? Or you do not require any punctuation mark whatsoever? Prarthana, will XAT sessions help you for CMAT? Yes. CMAT does share a fair bit with the XAT. Of course, the difficulty level is different altogether. XAT turns out to be significantly tougher. XAT also happens to have fewer vocabulary based questions. The RC in CMAT is easier, in XAT it is tougher. CMAT won't have poems, but if you look at it in terms of syllabus, if you look at it in terms of what is it that you need to prepare, you'd find them more or less similar. Okay. Okay, so there are times when we use 2 or more words together before a noun to act as an adjective. So these are called compound adjectives. And in a lot of those compound adjectives, you end up using a hyphen, especially if you look at self. Self is a hyphenated prefix. So wherever you put it, you tend to use a hyphen. Remember self-taught? He's a self-taught musician. Even when we talk about self-study, whenever you use them as compound adjectives, you'd always hyphenate them. I'll give you more examples. How about 2-year moratorium? Now you notice we are using 2-year as an adjective here. So when you create these compound adjectives, you typically use a hyphen. So you would require a hyphen, and therefore the correct answer will be option B. Here is another one from punctuations. Go ahead, give it a thought, take your time. Until then, I will go ahead and have a sip of this steaming hot coffee. Start of a great morning for me, huh? I'm actually trying to cut back on caffeine, and on the 1st and the 2nd of January, I only had decaf coffee. And I still remember the time when I used to make fun of all those people. Yesterday, I was at office. and I enjoyed an espresso. And today, once again, I thought that, okay, let's have a bit of caffeine. Okay, so, fabulous, guys. The correct answer is indeed A. And the reason, you notice here is a clause and here is another clause. When two clauses are joined using a coordinate conjunction, remember fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. When we use one of the coordinate conjunctions, both of these clauses are called independent clauses. So you end up using a comma before a coordinate conjunction if it joins two clauses. On the other hand, if it is joining just two phrases, then you won't require a comma. If you're joining two clauses, you definitely need a comma, and therefore the answer is A. Okay, here is the next one. So a colon, a semicolon, a comma, a hyphen. What do you want? So, man, you guys are getting good. B is indeed the right answer. So you have two clauses here. Now these clauses do not have any conjunction. So you cannot join two clauses without a conjunction. The only way out in that case is you either use a full stop or a semicolon, and that is why B becomes the best answer here. Here is the next one. Question number 4. So two blanks, you need to determine what goes into each one of these two blanks. So absolutely, in this case, the answer is going to be D. Okay, can there be another solution for it as well? What if we don't want to use a comma? What do we use then? In that case, we can also set these off using hyphens. So you can use hyphens, you can use commas. So whenever your sentence has some non-essential information added, you can separate it from the rest of the sentence with the help of commas or hyphens. And Indrajit is now in a positive. Man, you're going to scare a lot of people. Okay. Here is the last of these foundational questions, and then the next one will be a proper XAT kind of question for you. Okay, Asta, after this question, huh? Okay, So if I go with first one, let's eat Rahul, it means that I am inviting others to eat Rahul. So it's like, oh, let's eat chole bhature, let's eat rajma chawal, let's eat Rahul. Rahul is the meal in this case. He's not the one who's being invited to eat. He's the one who is going to be eaten. The trouble with B is twofold. The first one is that there are these quote marks, but then when you use these quote marks, who said it? And if we do not know who said it, why are we using indirect speech? Why are we using direct speech? Moreover, why are we ending it with a question mark? And that is why D is the best answer. And here is the kind of question that you're likely to get in XAT. Go ahead and tell me what you think. So question number 6, correct use of the punctuation. Okay, so we have an answer from Anish, closely followed by Sonali, Priyanshi. Oh, and I missed out on Priksha's answer. Okay, yep. So the correct answer is E. Akhil, we can skip C. C has this unnecessary comma, plus it is using semicolons. So, I mean, semicolons probably can still be justified, but this comma is incorrect. Moreover, there is no comma after Poland. So, multiple errors. So, E it is. D. D does not have commas after France and Poland. So, you notice we are omitting something here. Italy is famous for its composers and musicians. France is famous for its chefs and philosophers. So when you're omitting that is famous, you need to add that comma. And because that also tells you that these sentences are very closely aligned, you would ideally not want a full stop. You would require a semicolon or a comma in this case. Prefer actually a comma because a semicolon requires a complete clause subsequently. Right? So now that we are done with punctuations, there is a question that somebody asked about the second question. So let me see what that was. Okay, this one. Okay. So you know that we happen to have 7 conjunctions that are called coordinate conjunctions. Here is an acronym that helps us remember it, fanboys. So if you see a clause, then one of these fanboys conjunctions, and thereafter another clause. So in each one of these situations, you need to put in a comma before the conjunction. If you do not, that's considered grammatically incorrect. However, if you're just joining words or phrases, if you're joining 2 words, 2 phrases, using one of these conjunctions, then you don't need it. But then apart from coordinate conjunctions, you remember you also have subordinate conjunctions: if, unless, although, though, while, all those, because. So in the case of subordinate conjunctions, let's call them SC, and then you have clause 1, comma, clause 2. So if the subordinate conjunction is at the beginning, then there is a clause, then another clause, you would put a comma. On the other hand, if you have clause 1, then the subordinate conjunction, then clause 2, in this case you do not put in a comma. So you introduce a comma only when the subordinate conjunction starts the sentence. So because you asked about question number 2, comma, I chose to talk about it. But if I phrase it differently, I chose to talk about it because you asked about it. I will not use any comma in this particular sentence. So at least in this particular sentence, it was closely tied with conjunctions, and therefore I think it is important for us to have an understanding of different types of conjunctions, right? So that's about punctuations. Here is the next one, grammar. So you have these 5 options A, B, C, D, E. You are supposed to choose those sentences as your answer that are grammatically incorrect. Okay, so we have one answer from Vrinda. She set the ball rolling. How about the rest of us also joining in and sharing their answers? So the first sentence is grammatically incorrect. The subject here is the principal, but the verb that corresponds to it is plural. This entire part, who was accompanied by the teachers, this is an adjective clause. It has no bearing on the verb of the sentence. So this where should have been was. Moreover, this adjective clause should also have been set off by commas because it introduces non-essential information. So first is definitely incorrect, which means that I think the answer should be B or C. Let's check second. The council were divided in their opinions on the question of raising taxes. Now, at first glance, some of us may feel that it is incorrect, that instead of where we need to use was, but then the trouble is, the issue is, why even call it a trouble? Council is a collective noun. So let's look at the definition of a collective noun once. There are times when a group of nouns come together and act as a single unit. So the single unit thus formed, when you give it a name, it is called a collective noun. For example, army, team, committee, jury, all those. A lot of these were also taught to you back in school. Remember, a pride of lions, a herd of cattle, a murder of cows, all that. So collective nouns are countable, which means that they have a singular form and a plural form. So team, teams, army, armies. Singular form should take a singular verb, plural form should take a plural verb. That's what subject verb agreement will tell us. But there is a catch here. There are times when those different entities that form the collective noun, they stop acting as a single unit. Instead of all of them acting together, they start acting independent of each other. It is normally very apparent wherever that group, wherever different entities within that collective noun happen to have a difference of opinion or a disagreement. So in those situations, even though we use the singular form of the collective noun, the verb that we use is plural. Let me give you an example. So I will say the class is going on. Class is a collective noun. The class is going on. But then you remember back in school, back in college, there was this bell that went off. The bell told you that the day is over. And now once that bell went off, everybody would leave his or her chairs and then move out. So in that action of leaving your chair and going out, although it is still a class, no, I can still say that the class, that it is the class which is getting dispersed. In that action of leaving the chairs and going out, will everybody act as a single unit? Will the entire class act as a single unit? No. So I will say the class have left their chairs. I will not say the class has left its chairs. Right? Similarly, in this sentence, you notice we are talking about the council, but the sentence very clearly tells you that they were divided in their opinions. So they're not acting as a single unit here. And therefore, the use of the plural verb is grammatically correct. So this sentence is all right. Okay, then let's look at third. It is certain that either of the girls has grabbed the first position. Absolutely correct. The noun after the preposition is never the subject of the sentence or the clause. There are just two exceptions to it, but other than those two situations, the noun that is after the preposition is never the subject. Why? The noun that comes after the preposition is going to be part of either an adjective or an adverb. And your verbs do not agree with adjectives or adverbs, they agree with nouns. So here the subject is this pronoun called either, and either is always singular. So either, neither, each, every, always singular. So has is absolutely correct. So since second and third are correct and we are looking for incorrect sentences, B should not be the answer. Well, let's look at fourth. The committee have submitted the report on the riots. Now in this case, this is definitely wrong because committee is acting as a single unit. So you needed to use a singular verb. Has, so fourth is incorrect. Neither of the books by the author are good. Oh, so this part after of will have no bearing on the verb. But neither, just like either, is singular. So neither of the books by the author is good. The verb should have been singular. So fourth and fifth are grammatically incorrect. Second and third are not. And therefore our answer should be C. So here are the corrections in first, fourth and fifth on your screen. So I hope that helps. So this question basically taps into subject-verb agreement, and there are different areas that can act as subjects. Okay, nouns act as subjects, pronouns can act as subjects, and then there are times when you join nouns and pronouns with the help of conjunctions. So the challenges can be resolved by developing a deeper understanding of nouns, pronouns and conjunctions, particularly our ability to figure out whether the resultant subject is singular or plural. So any questions in this, considering that I had only a couple of right answers. Harsh got it right, Astha got it right, Preksha Sonali also got it right. Okay, Chinmay also got it right. Okay, not a couple, actually 5 right answers. So that was fantastic, guys. Okay, so if second stumped you, just revisit collective nouns, subject verb agreement, and you'd have that additional added clarity. And if third and fifth bothered you, you need to basically go ahead and read up a little on distributive pronouns, and that should once again give you that clarity. Okay, so here is the next one. Go ahead and give me your answer. Oh, Ankita, why is sixth correct? I'm assuming you're talking about the previous question. I did not even look at it since I am not one of those who spread rumors. It is right. What did you find wrong with it? If you share that with me, then I can tell you the relevant concept or the relevant principle, huh? Okay, so the correct answer for question number 8 is D. Look at A. Apart from carbohydrates and vitamins, whole grains are a reliable source of, and the rest of the sentence is proteins. Now, the interpretation is that carbohydrates are a source of protein, vitamins are a source of protein, whole grains are a source of protein. But then we're not saying that carbs and vitamins are a source of protein. We're saying whole grains provide you carbs, provide you vitamins, provide you proteins. So A, B, C, all the three distort that meaning. They do not give you that particular meaning. And in E, you're saying other than carbohydrates and vitamins. So we are once again saying that, okay, you have carbohydrates and vitamins that are a source of protein. Apart from those, you also have whole grains that are a source of protein, which is once again weird. We want to say that whole grains provide you these nutrients. How can, and then see, look at this, logically suitable. How are carbohydrates source of protein? Although my mother does think that. My mother thinks that the most important food item is carbs. If I eat only the veggies, only the sabji, only the bhaji, only the eggs, she says that I'm not feeding myself enough. She thinks that unless I have my chapatis or my parathas or my rice, I am not being fed well. Damn, that's a vicious cycle to break. So, D, come on. Ankita, you still haven't told me what you found wrong with that, with the sixth sentence of the previous question, so I'm not able to share the relevant concept with you. Okay, next. Okay, so let me share the right answer with you. The correct answer is C. And if you notice, the sense here is that stars were very far away, light years away, so the light took a long time to reach us. What we see now is the way stars were at a particular point of time in the past and not as they are right now. So when you use the word appear in this context, it will be similar to seem. We see them as they appeared or seemed. No, as they were at that particular point of time. Right? B can be ruled out because of like. E, we see them as they happened to be. Happened to be indicates what? A chance occurrence. What the stars were at that particular point of time, why are we really denoting it as a chance occurrence, as if we caught them in a particular way or a particular act? Moreover, it will also be verbose. It will be wordy. The problem with D is we see them similarly to what, use similar to what they looked like. That would still work. But similarly, no. The like of B is incorrect. And I think most of us have ruled out A, so that works as well. And here is the next one. Once upon a time, XAT asked us tag questions for a couple of years, quite a few years ago. But then I thought that I'll just introduce one of these so that the concept once again comes to your mind, just in case the examiner wants to repeat. Remember these tag questions from your school days? XAT has this tendency to at times dive into those very basic, very foundational questions. Sonali and Vrinda leapt onto this. Astha has also joined the party, and yes, the correct answer is indeed option C. When the main sentence is negative, the tag question is supposed to be positive. So we won't be late. The tag question should have been, will we? So that's basically 10th. Okay, then, okay, let me just take you back to question number 7 once. Who spreads instead of spread? So what do we need here? We need spread or we need spreads? What's your take? Spread or spreads? What do we want? So basically the question here is, who is singular or plural? The subject is who, singular or plural? So the confusion arises out of the fact that who inherently cannot be labeled as singular or plural. Who takes the number of whichever noun or pronoun it refers to. So if it is referring to a pronoun which is singular, who will also behave as singular. If it is referring to a noun that is plural, who will also start behaving as if it were plural. So which noun or pronoun does it refer to? Very easy. Whenever we use who, which or that as relative pronouns, I'll write the term here in case you want to read up more on these. Whenever we use, so there are these 3 relative pronouns, okay, who, which and that. And each one of these relative pronouns starts an adjective clause. Now the deal is, why am I talking about these being adjectives? An adjective modifies the noun that is closest to it. Noun or pronoun, okay? So in this case, the pronoun that is closest to it is those. And you can see those is plural. So because those is plural, who will also be treated as plural. And if the subject is plural, the verb must also be plural. And that is why it should not be spreads, but spread. It is I who is calling you. It is they who are calling you. So get the drift. So the 6th sentence as a result was grammatically correct, and that is why we did not choose it as our answer. Thank you for the question. I hope it clarified it not only for you but also for some other individuals who probably were not very sure of it. So with that, now let us dive into our fill in the blanks. What say you? So there you go. Let's start. Okay, Vrinda, I see that. Vrinda is on fire today, huh? Vedant, Harsh, Akshay, absolutely correct, guys. The answer is indeed B. Ankan, that's right. Good job, guys. Good job. Fabulous, Rutu. And here is the next one. Meghna, at an advanced level, if you look at it, then yes, there are times when a positive sentence can have a positive tag question, yes. It changes the meaning though. Let's go through question number 12 and then let's talk about it. I'll just put it here as a reminder. So I'll tell you what the difference then is. Okay, come to think of it, normally when we say to the best of his, what kind of word do we put in here? To the best of his ability? So what we need here is something that can act as a synonym for ability. Insights, intellect, mind and thoughts cannot work as a synonym for ability, but ingenuity is a type of ability. Ingenuity is resourcefulness, cleverness, inventiveness. So that's a sort of ability. So if I look at the second blank, only ingenuity can go in there, and that is why I will prefer D over E. So otherwise, if I go by the first blank, honed cannot go in there. So A can be eliminated. Polished and refined, yes. You can hone your ability, you can hone your craft, but you cannot hone something specific unless that specific thing happens to be yourself or your craft. But the second blank essentially helped us rule it all out, and that is why D should be the preferred option. Okay, now tag questions, both positive. So let me give you two sentences. So here is a sentence. What if I meet you where I know that your result is going to be announced today, and then I meet you, I see you, and I can say, you've been selected, haven't you? Or have you? Now, both of these are grammatically correct. Haven't you is your regular tag question. You've been selected, haven't you? So haven't you is involves a genuine inquiry. So I do not know whether you've been selected or not. I'm hoping that you are. So you've been selected, haven't you? So I'm seeking that confirmation from you. On the other hand, what if you walk in, you look at me and you have this big smile plastered on your face, this happiness which is spreading out, coming out, radiating out. So if I look at you in that particular situation, that particular scenario, you've been selected, have you? So have you is now a rhetorical question. I'm sorry, there is a power cut at my end, so I'm removing myself from the slide very briefly. So have you basically is, it's no longer an inquiry. I know that you are selected. I am sure that you are selected. So that have you makes it rhetorical. So I mean, or let's say I look outside and I notice that it's cloudy, and then you walk in and say it is raining, isn't it? I'm not sure whether it is raining or not. I'm seeking confirmation. But if you step in, if you walk in and you are already drenched, so I know what the situation is. Say it's raining, is it? So it's no longer a genuine inquiry. Okay, so that's the deal with both positives. Okay, here is the next one. So XAT has in the past tested us using confusibles. Confusibles is not a standard term, but we use confusibles to refer to two or more words which are somehow similar, and as a result people can at times confuse them. So what I need here is ice. Which one of these words means ice? Slush is that ice which is watered down. So it all boils down to A versus C. Sludge is a lot of mud. You know, soft, wet earth is called sludge. So what I witness around me all the time during monsoons is sludge. You go to Himalayas and you have this ice. But Ganges Delta, the delta of a river, you are likely to see sludge. Slosh is a verb, it is not even a noun. So C is also ruled out, and therefore the best answer here is A. So should be A. So slushing, absolutely yes. So this is more of a vocabulary question than I guess a logic question. But here is the next one, which once again tests your grammar along with a bit of logic. Okay, you're absolutely right. C it is. So yep, 14th, the best answer is C. We have nothing called unique from. You're different from someone else. You're not unique from someone else. Unique anyway means one of its kind, so that comparison would become absurd and invalid. The problem with B is double negative, and the problem with E is and joins two similar ideas, but these ideas are different, right? So that is why we can land up at E. And here is your question number 15. Another one that tests your understanding of confusibles. This is one of those previous year questions. Let's see how you deal with it. So what do you need in the first sentence? I mean, you do not need to start with first. Look at all the 4, whichever you think is easy for you to deal with, just pick that up and start eliminating. Man, I'm getting a lot of power cuts today, huh? What's wrong? Okay. So let's look at first. He's the most eminent. Okay, eminent means somebody who is very well known, who's very famous in a particular domain, very well respected in a particular domain. So eminent can go, which means that A, C and D are all right. Let's look at immanent. What is immanent? Immanent means inherent, existing or operating within, innate. So immanent will make no sense in the first blank, so B is ruled out and E is also ruled out. Let's move over to, let's look at third. Third is an easy sentence. This hall would have been full but for the dash rain. Inherent rain? Nope. Imminent rain. Imminent is something which is about to happen. Okay, very high probability of happening within the short span of time in future. So imminent can go. So that leaves you with C and D. So what is the difference? In both of them, the second blank uses immanent. It is the fourth that separates the two. Many in the audience have achieved eminence or imminence. We don't even have anything called imminence. So they've achieved eminence, they've gained fame and recognition in their field. So this will work, imminence will not. So D is also ruled out and therefore we are left with C. Right? So that's your answer for 15th and that's my time. This is all that I brought for you today. So I'll be taking a pause here. In case you and I do not meet before the XAT, all the best for your exam. I know that you're going to absolutely rock it. And don't forget that we still have 2 more sessions of the crash course left. A session on XAT strategy by GB today at 7 p.m. and a marathon on GK tomorrow. So do tune in for those as well, and you can consider joining our other management entrance test batch, which focuses on all these non-CAT exams. So now that XAT is almost here, once it is over, we'd start focusing more on CMAT and Maharashtra CET. In case you're targeting those exams and are worried about your preparation, this will be an excellent opportunity to catch up on all the core concepts for you. And you can experience the batch by unlocking your free trial for that matter. All right. I hope that you go on to get great results just like some of our previous year students. So that's it from me today. All the best for your exam and go ahead, do your best. Do meet us for the analysis of XAT on the 7th. I think a couple of us will definitely reach the office by around 6:45. So hopefully we'll be able to go live by 7. If not that, then definitely by 7:30. I happen to have a center very far away, so I'll definitely try to reach there by 7:30 and I'll meet you then. Okay, with a detailed analysis of the entire paper, the different sections, etc. So that's it from me. Looking forward to meeting you on the 7th and maybe sooner. Take care, have fun.